Good evening from San Ignacio Town with the 9 o'clock news. I am Tefara Martinez. In the headlines, Santino Castillo steps down, paving the way for Darrell Bradley to contest the next general elections in the Caribbean Shores Division. High school students take part in the annual Voice of the West competition, and charges of rioting dismissed against residents of San Jose Socots Village. Stay tuned for details of these and other stories coming up right after these messages.
My dad never misses a football match.
Me neither.
Are you enjoying this game or what?
I'm loving every minute of it.
I can't miss this game, but I can't see it either.
Here, now you can. The game's on me.
Now, wherever there's internet, you don't have to miss a single minute of TV. And the best part of MyTV is its cost as little as $10 monthly for Central TV and Internet's customers. With 25 channels at your fingertips, you'll always be tuned in. MyTV is available only at Central TV and Internet. Log on and discover a new world of mobile TV.
Hey, do you happen to have a beer?
Here now is the news in details. The United Democratic Party today announced that Caribbean Shores Area Representative Santino Castillo will not seek re-election. At a press conference held this morning at UDP headquarters, Prime Minister Dean Barrow made the announcement that Mr. Castillo is stepping aside, leaving Mayor Darrell Bradley as the sole candidate for the upcoming Standard Bearer Convention on June 7th. Castillo told reporters that he thought long and hard before arriving at the decision to step aside. He said he decided to not contest the Standard Bearer Convention after consulting with his family and in order to spare his party, the UDP, from the divisiveness of the convention. Castillo pledged his support for Mayor Bradley and said he endorses him for Caribbean Shores without reservations. Mayor Bradley, for his part, thanked Mr. Castillo and UDP leader Dean Barrow for their support in his quest to become the next area representative for Caribbean Shores. Bradley will go up against attorney-at-law Karim Musa of the People's United Party in the next general elections, constitutionally due by March of 2017. Police in San Pedro Town are investigating what has been described as a case of obtaining property by deception. This follows a report made on Wednesday evening by a 52-year-old woman. The woman visited the San Pedro police station to report that on March 15th, she contacted a man via email whom she believed was the manager of a local tour company. The woman says that she booked a tour package to Tikal, Guatemala, that was scheduled for yesterday. The woman says that subsequently charges were made to her credit card in the amount of $1,008. But when the woman visited the tour company's office in San Pedro Town yesterday, she realized that the person with whom she had communicated was not employed by the company. The police are now looking for the person with whom the woman made the arrangement as their investigation continues. Two men from Armenia Village in the Cayo district have been arrested and charged for the crime of keeping ammunition without a gun license. They are 25-year-old Jose Isaac Villavicencio and 22-year-old Moises Antonio Villavicencio Ayala. Police say that in an early morning operation on Friday of last week, they found 3 16-gauge cartridges at a farm in the village. The men could not produce a gun license for the ammunition, and as a result, they were both arrested and charged. Prime Minister and Minister of Finance Dean Barrow today confirmed to reporters that an investigation is ongoing into alleged misappropriation of funds at the Treasury Department. Speaking with reporters this morning after a UDP press conference in Belize City, the Prime Minister said that he is not aware of the extent of the alleged misappropriation, but that he was informed by Financial Secretary Jose Waite that as much as $500,000 could have been siphoned off. Prime Minister Barrow told reporters that some enterprising person or persons appears to have manipulated legitimate payments to divert money from the Treasury Department. The Prime Minister says that the red flag on the alleged scheme was raised by the bank, prompting an investigation which is still ongoing. No arrests have been made so far. The annual Voice of the West competition is taking place at this hour in San Ignacio Town. The event features high school students from across the Cayo district will compete for hundreds of dollars in cash prizes and trophies for the winning schools. Cynthia Reese is the organizer of the event, and she explained that the competition will have the students compete against each other in different categories, including impromptu speech, where they don't get to know the topic until 10 minutes prior to the presentation. There is a persuasive speech category, where the participants prepare a speech that is 3 to 4 minutes long, in which they have to convince the judges of what it is they are talking about. There is also an original poem competition where the students get to show off their literacy talents. The topics for tonight's competition were all based on the Rotary 4-way test. Reese says that plans will commence later this year for the next Voice of the West competition. We will have highlights from tonight's competition in Friday's newscast. Residents of Orange Walk Town are the beneficiaries of a much improved Central Park. Inauguration of the rehabilitated Orange Walk Central Park was held earlier this week. The rehabilitation work on the park was carried out through a loan from the World Bank with a 3% contribution from the Orange Walk Town Council. The total cost of the rehabilitation project is $353,052. According to a statement from the Social Investment Fund, and we quote, "The park, which occupies approximately 2,400 square meters, was designed and implemented by the Project Implementation Unit of the Belize Municipal Development Project under the umbrella of the Belize Social Investment Fund for present and future generations of Orange Walkenians." The SIF press release says that prior to construction, the park was in a dilapidated state with walkways in poor conditions, inadequate lighting, and flooding due to low grounds resulting in clogged drains when it rained. According to SIF, quote, "The scope of works included the demolishing of existing walkways, raising existing floor level of the park, installing French drains and colored paving units as sidewalks and curbs, as well as upgrading the lighting system, and the construction of a new gazebo," end quote. In addition, the tourist information booth received a new facelift with colors to match the overall theme of the park. You are watching the evening news on the National Channel. Stay tuned for more of the day's stories right after these messages.
farmer.
Me neither.
Are you enjoying this game or what?
I'm loving every minute of it.
I can't miss this game, but I can't see it either.
Here, now you can. The game's on me.
Now, wherever there's internet, you don't have to miss a single minute of TV. And the best part of MyTV is it costs as little as $10 monthly for Central TV and Internet's customers. With 25 channels at your fingertips, you'll always be tuned in. MyTV is available only at Central TV and Internet. Log on and discover a new world of mobile TV.
Hey, do you happen to have a beer?
On Wednesday's newscast, we told you about an arrest made in connection with Monday's fatal road traffic incident in the Toledo district. 54-year-old Jose Mariano Pascual Aldana was found dead on the side of the Southern Highway in Big Falls Village, Toledo. Police investigations led to the arrest of 41-year-old John Baptist, a resident of Big Falls Village, on a list of charges including manslaughter by negligence and causing death by careless conduct. Baptist was arraigned before Magistrate Emerson Banner yesterday, but no plea was taken because the case will be tried on indictment. Baptist was offered bail, which he was unable to meet, and is to reappear in the Punta Gorda Magistrates Court on May 20th. Attorney at law Michelle Shabat today posted on his Facebook page that residents of San Jose Socots Village who were charged with rioting and unlawful assembling have been freed of the charges. According to the Facebook post, the charges were dismissed in the Magistrates Court this morning. Residents of San Jose Socots Village had protested and closed down the George Price Highway in their village last year following a fatal road traffic incident in which Deputy Commissioner of Police Miguel Segura was involved. According to defense attorney Michelle Shabat, the prosecution witnesses were unable to testify, and so he made an application to the court to have the matter dismissed for want of prosecution. The magistrate agreed and the charges were dismissed. The charges are misdemeanors and could be reinstated, but that appears to be an unlikely scenario at this time. The San Pedro Sun newspaper is reporting that 9-year-old Catherine Michelle Perez and her mother Carolina Dominguez Mesa are both responding well to medical treatment for burns sustained in a tragic incident earlier this month. Catherine is receiving treatment at the Shriners Hospital in Boston, Massachusetts for third-degree burns to 53% of her body. The little girl was badly burned when fumes from gasoline that was being used to treat head lice ignited on the night of April 3rd. The San Pedro Sun newspaper reports that Catherine received severe burns to the upper body, including her arms, hands, and face. Her mother, Carolina Dominguez Mesa, received second-degree burns as she tried to put out the flames that had engulfed her daughter. The San Pedro Sun reports that Carolina is in the intensive care unit at the Carl Huchner Memorial Hospital in Belize City. Zone finals for the annual Children's Festival of Arts were held this morning at the Cancha Marshallec in Benque Viejo del Carmen. According to Armando Chulin, who shared these pictures of the event, beautiful presentations were made by students attending various primary schools from Calac Creek to Arenal villages. Chulin reports that the presentations that were awarded 50 out of 50 received a gold certificate and will go on to compete in the district finals, which will be held on Friday at the Octavia Witt Auditorium in San Ignacio Town. Mayor Geraldo Rancharan gave the welcome address at the start of the Festival of Arts presentation this morning. noting that over the years, the performances of the students have been consistently phenomenal. Mayor Rancharan also congratulated the teachers who went the extra mile to prepare their students for this year's Festival of Arts. The schools that took part in this morning's zone finals of the Children's Festival of the Arts are Mount Carmel Primary, Victorious Nazarene, Howard Smith Nazarene, San Jose Socots Roman Catholic, Holy Cross Roman Catholic from Cala Creek, and La Immaculada Roman Catholic Primary School from Arenal Village. The scarlet macaw is a magnificent bird that is found in the forest along the Maya Mountains in the south and west of the country. It is an endangered species, as poachers have been decimating these magnificent birds to supply a black market trade. But a local non-governmental organization based in San Antonio Village in the Cayo District have been doing its part to help in the conservation effort. TNC's Patrick Jones sat down with the Director of Field Operations for the Scarlet 6 Biomonitoring Team, Ronnie Martinez, to find out more about the work that the 3-year-old group has been doing.
It's a very new organization. We just registered last year, but we have been operating in the Chiquibul for the past 4 years actually. In 2011, we were still studying the scarlet macaws along with our colleague Charles Britt. But in 2011, actually poaching peaked up to almost 90% of the nests that we were studying got poached. So we had to shift from research into conservation. Otherwise, we would not have a species to study. So ending 2011, that was the last research that we did. 2012, we actually managed to get a small amount of funding to hire 4 rangers who we would deploy at several different nests. And what these rangers would do is basically just camp right there close to the nest. Once poachers come around the area and they notice somebody's around, then they don't get any closer. So that's how Scarlet 6 really started, you know, out of a dire need to protect the scarlet macaw chicks in both the Chiquibul and the Mountain Pine Ridge Forest Reserves.
What is the area covered by your organization?
The first nest is actually very close to the Chalillo Dam, and from there, going upstream, it's about 25 kilometers. So it's a very big area that we cover, and it's actually along both tributaries, both the Macal River and the Raspaculo branch and the Chalillo Reservoir. So it's a very big area that we cover.
What have you seen since the launch of your organization in terms of the scarlet macaw? Are they making a comeback, or are they still pretty much endangered?
I would say it's a little bit early to make any conclusions as yet. But what I can tell you is that we have made quite an impact on the percentage of chicks that have been poached. I mean, in 2011, as I mentioned, almost 90% of the nests were poached. 2012, when we started the protection efforts, it went down to 30%. So it's a huge difference that we have managed to, and it's just by being there, just that presence alone is what is making a difference.
Is the area covered by your organization the only place where the scarlet macaw they reside?
The scarlet macaws are found throughout the Maya Mountains, but so far we have been able to find nests, active nests, only on the Chiquibul side, along the Macal River, the Chiquibul branch, and the Raspaculo branch. Scarlet macaws are found in other areas of the Maya Mountains, for example, Coxcomb Basin. They also are in Red Bank and other areas in Bladen, in Sibun Forest Reserve. In all these areas, we believe they're only feeding, they're only foraging around those areas. But active nests, so far, we have only found in the Chiquibul. So we can't say for sure that it's only in the Chiquibul, but up to today, we have never found a nest outside of the Chiquibul.
Obviously, the work that you do is very important in the conservation aspect. How do you sustain yourself?
Well, for the past 3 years, we have been getting a little bit of funding from an organization called Loro Parque Fundación, which is based in Spain. But we also rely heavily on private donations. So anyone who's interested in learning more about the project, we would usually take them out there for them to really see how it is, in the field, and get a full sense of what we're doing. And that's how we get some of these private donations, and we rely very heavily on those actually. But this year, 2015, we're actually getting a little bit of funding from the National Audubon Society from the U.S. We're also strengthening the possibility of bringing in ecotourism into the area, because it is possible to do some tours in there, which will generate some money for the project to continue. But that's still in the works. It's a possibility, but it's still in the works. And we also still rely very heavily on private donations. So for this year, that's going to be actually what is going to fuel us for the season.
If somebody wants to come look at the work that you do, or maybe visit the area that you cover, how can they contact you, and is that a possibility?
Yes, the best way actually to contact us, we're on Facebook, so it's just for anyone who's interested to look up Scarlet 6 Biomonitoring Team on Facebook. They can contact us right there. We actually have several volunteers that we are taking in this year from some universities here, but we also have people from outside of Belize who want to come in and help. We have people coming in all the way from Sweden this year. In previous years, we've had people from Spain, from the US, from Israel, who have come out to help. But we do want to bring in more Belizeans into the area so that they really understand the beauty of that area, and for them to understand what Belize has as a country and what we're losing actually.
Who are the Foundation 6, if you will? Who are the 6 guys that you started?
So Scarlet 6 Biomonitoring was basically started by Charles Britt, who was doing the research part in that area. So he's one of our founders, and then myself. So together, after 2011, we really started brainstorming and saying, we have to do something. And from 2012 onwards, we both of us, Charles Britt and myself, we managed to get a little bit of funding, and in collaboration with Friends for Conservation and Development, FCD, we have managed to deploy 2 teams up there. I mean, FCD has their own team and their own resources, and we have our separate team. So sometimes what we do is they cover one river and then we cover the other river, and we combine forces in order to cover more area.
You share data?
Yes, absolutely. And at the end of every season, we actually submit a final report to the forest department. But before we do that, we also share the information or the data that they gathered and the one that we gathered, and kind of consolidate a final report to forest department.
Do you make presentations to primary schools to tell them about the importance of the scarlet macaw?
Yes, absolutely. We've been all over the place actually giving presentations, but this year we're actually applying for a little bit of funding specifically for that, because we want to include schools that are all the way up in Corozal or all the way down in Toledo, because although this is happening here in the Cayo district, but the rest of Belize has to know what we're doing and the wildlife that we have up there, and that that's at risk basically.
If you are interested in learning more about the work of the Scarlet 6 Biomonitoring Team, or to organize a visit to the Chiquibull to see the magnificent scarlet macaw, you can contact the group via the email addresses on the screen. You can also check out the work of the Scarlet 6 Biomonitoring by visiting their Facebook page. The news on the national channel.
My dad never misses a football match.
Me neither.
Are you enjoying this game or what?
I'm loving every minute of it.
I can't miss this game, but I can't see it either.
Here, now you can. The game's on me.
Now, wherever there's internet, you don't have to miss a single minute of TV. And the best part of MyTV is its cost as little as $10 monthly for Central TV and Internet's customers. With 25 channels at your fingertips, you'll always be tuned in. MyTV is available only at Central TV and Internet. Log on and discover a new world of mobile TV.
Hey, do you happen to have a beer?
To end the news, here are the headlines again. Santino Castillo steps down, paving the way for Darrell Bradley to contest the next general elections in the Caribbean Shores Division. High school students take part in the annual Voice of the West competition. And charges of rioting dismissed against residents of San Jose Socots Village. With the headlines, we end this edition of the 9 o'clock news. Thank you for joining us. I am Tifara Martinez. Have a good night.